Sorry, I don't talk to strangers. That's the first thing he said to me. Me, the woman who always got what she wanted. And I don't say that out of arrogance. It's just how things have always been. I'm 35, self-made, rich beyond reason, living in a beachside mansion in Santa Monica. I have staff. I have time. I have curiosity. And, sometimes, I get bored. So when I saw him, a janitor from the cleaning company working outside my property, something inside me lit up. He wasn't particularly tall or striking. But there was something raw and grounded in the way he moved. Honest. Real. I walked up to him. No glam, no designer anything. Just jeans, sneakers, and a hoodie. And I smiled. Hi. I live here. Thought I'd say hello. He didn't even make eye contact. Just said. Sorry, I don't talk to strangers. And walked off. I stood there, stunned. Who does that? Especially to me? For the first time in years, someone didn't care who I was. Didn't flirt. Didn't even smile. Just, no. And I swear, it made my heart skip. That night, I watched him from my second-floor office window. Something inside me shifted. This wasn't going to be a game anymore. This was going to be the game. Next morning, I threw on plain work clothes and showed up outside. Broom in hand. He gave me a look. Confused. I could help, I said. I've got it covered, he replied, calm. Kind. Distant. Refused me. Again. So I showed up with lunch. Real food, from the best spot in town. He accepted. Looked me in the eye. And smiled. Tiny crack. Tiny win. I asked him out. Again, he had things to do. Then another time, same answer. And something inside me twisted. Why? Why is he resisting? Why won't he take my hand? Maybe he knows who I am. Maybe he doesn't care. Or maybe I've forgotten what it means to fall for someone without power. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't playing the game. I was the one being played. I disappeared for a few days. Just to give him space. To see if he'd notice. If he'd ask. If he'd even care. He didn't. At least not visibly. I walked past where he worked, and he just kept cleaning windows like I didn't exist. Quiet. Focused. That same honest tiredness in his eyes. But there was something else. Once, when I was coming back with coffee, he looked at me longer than usual. Didn't smile. Didn't look away either. And I clung to that glance like it was a lifeline. I told myself he was scared. Maybe something happened to him before. Maybe he's got rules. Boundaries. I wrote a whole romance into his silence. On Friday, I waited until his shift ended. Then I followed him. It was foolish, I know. But I couldn't help it. He got on an old bus, rode 2 stops, and disappeared into a gray apartment building with no signs. I memorized the address. That evening, instead of wine and a warm bath, I sat in my car across the street from that building. Just staring at the windows. One of them lit up. Then went dark. The next morning, I was there again. With coffee. With a plan. I told myself I just needed answers. Just a conversation. When he stepped out, I stood right in front of him. You can't keep running away from me. What's wrong with me? He looked at me. Really looked. Longer than he ever had. And then he said. There's nothing wrong with you. I just don't want to lose again. I froze. Lose who? I don't understand. You're not supposed to. And he walked away. It was an answer. And another mystery. And instead of giving me peace, it left a hole in me. I drove home in pieces. For the first time, I didn't know what to do. And somehow, that made me want him even more. I had to know more about him. It wasn't curiosity anymore, it was a need. There was something in his eyes that stayed open, but never for me. And I couldn't take it. I found his name through the cleaning company's office. He was a recent immigrant, came to the States a year ago from somewhere in Eastern Europe. Small town. Language barriers. Still waiting on paperwork. He worked every day. It was simple. But none of it explained the silence. One Friday, I waited for him near the bus stop again. The sun was setting. When he saw me, he didn't even look surprised. "You again," he said. Not cold. Not warm. Just, resigned. "Just tell me, are you married? Is there someone else?" He paused. Then said. "There was." My chest tightened. "What happened?" "She died. Last winter. Pneumonia. We were together since childhood." Silence. People walked by. A dog barked. Somewhere, someone laughed. But I stood there, not as the woman with money, power, and plans. Just a woman, suddenly unsure how to breathe. "You're afraid to love again?" I asked softly. "I'm afraid to lose again. And with you, it would hurt more." And he walked away. Again. But this time, I didn't chase him. Back home, I stared at myself in the mirror. Not as the businesswoman. Not as the strategist. But as someone who, for the first time, didn't know how to mend a heart. I was truly alone. And I was beginning to realize that love isn't a prize. It's not something you win. It's fragile. It hurts. It chooses you, not the other way around. And maybe I had fallen for someone who would never love me back. I didn't sleep for 2 nights. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, asking myself, why him? Why did his silence hurt more than any betrayal I'd ever faced? I was used to the world responding to my desires. Opening up. Bending. But with him, it was like I had touched something raw and real. Something that didn't follow my rules. He didn't want me. Not because he didn't see me, but because he saw too clearly. I wasn't playing anymore. I wasn't in control. I was just a woman who imagined his voice every night. His hands. His presence in my life. And then, the cold emptiness after those fantasies. Because he was choosing to stay away. On Sunday, I messaged him, "Do you want to meet?" No expectations. Just talk. He didn't reply. 1 day passed. Then 2. On the 3rd night, I woke up in a panic. I walked to the window, and saw him. Standing in the street. Staring at my house. At my window. Silent. I ran outside barefoot. No coat. Just a thin shirt and breath I couldn't catch. "Why are you here?" I asked, stopping a few feet from him. "Because I want to stop running." Just for a moment. We stood in silence. His lips trembled, not from the cold. My heart beat so loud I could barely hear anything else. And for the first time in days, I didn't feel alone. "Can I hug you?" I whispered. He nodded. Just once. Barely. And when I touched him, he closed his eyes like a child afraid to lose again. The next day, he disappeared. I waited by the bus stop. He never came. I called, no answer. Texted, the message didn't go through. I sat in my car for 3 hours. Watching the same street where he always passed. Then a new worker showed up. "Where's Ilya?" I asked. The guy shrugged. They moved him to another location. I felt a chill run through me. But not from the weather. That evening, on the phone with my friend, I said, "I don't get it." We felt something. He stood under my window. I touched him. It was real. "I'm not crazy, right?" "You're not. But you're also not the only person in this story," she said gently. Before I could respond, someone rang the doorbell. It wasn't him. A man in his 40s stood there, wearing a jacket with a badge, supervisor. Western Cleaning Services. "Ms. Lena? I'd like to talk to you. It's about one of our employees. Ilya." My heart froze. What happened? He requested a transfer. No explanation. But, before that, I accidentally overheard a conversation. "Between you and a woman named Diana. In the parking lot. You didn't see me, I was behind a car. You said, 'This is all a game, and he's supposed to fall for me first.'" My stomach dropped. That line. I had said it. Back in the beginning. Before any of this became real. "I didn't mean it like that. It was a joke," I whispered. "Maybe. But I think he heard you." And to him, it wasn't. I didn't need more answers. He didn't disappear because he was afraid of me. He was afraid of what I'd already done. And this time, I had truly lost. I didn't look for him. Not physically. I didn't call the company, didn't try to find his address, didn't stand by that gray building like I used to. But inside, I was fighting. Fighting the urge to explain. Fighting the version of myself from before. Fighting the shame that wouldn't leave, even inside my own home. I woke up early, went to bed late. Days got quieter. I overworked. Answered emails at 2 a.m., bought things I didn't need. I tried to distract myself. Anything to erase his eyes from my memory. I kept imagining different versions. What if I hadn't said that line? What if my friend hadn't heard it? What if he hadn't? What if I had been honest from day one? Sometimes I laughed at myself. Who would have thought I, a woman who turned down offers from London, New York, and Paris, couldn't get over a janitor who didn't even say goodbye? But it wasn't about him. It was about who I was when I was with him. Not the icon. Not the force. Just me. And that's what hurt the most. Because when you're honest for the first time, you're the most exposed. I wasn't playing love anymore. And for once, I didn't want to win. I just wanted to be real. But maybe, that moment had already passed.